Hello, in just a short while we will begin Tisha B'Av. Every year on the 9th of Av we fast to commemorate the historically tragic events that occurred to our people on this date. It all began in the desert when 10 out of 12 of our leaders returned from scouting out the land to instill fear in the hearts of our people, having them believe that they could not successfully conquer and live in the land that God had promised them. They stayed up crying all night, and it was then that God determined that the 9th of Av would be a day for meting out punishment to the Jewish people, and where they would indeed shed bitter tears, but this time for a real reason. And so many years later, both the first and second Beit HaMikdash were destroyed on the 9th of Av. And as we know, Turnus Rufus had leveled not just the Beit HaMikdash, but the whole surrounding area, leaving it desolate like an empty field. For thousands of years we mourned as Yerushalayim was remiss of the Jewish existence and the thriving people and all the life force that was meant to exist within Yerushalayim and our country. And I feel blessed that thousands of years later I am one of millions of people that are fortunate to inhabit this land and witness the rebuilding of Yerushalayim and witness the ingathering of nations from many different peoples and ethnicities from the four corners of the earth, speaking different languages, to watching the old people having Turkish coffee on the street and the young people running around screaming and playing. I also see the marketplace that's full of produce and fish and meats and delicacies and all the buildings that shoot up in Yerushalayim, and it is being rebuilt, but it's still missing. And I still cry because, why do I cry? The heart of Yerushalayim, the heart is on the Harabayit where the Temple Mount's supposed to stand. And I cry every time that I see an IDF soldier being attacked by one of our people for wearing a uniform and serving our country. I cry every time a woman who is just trying to pray gets a dirty diaper thrown at her. I cry every time a rabbi with wonderful ideas is silenced because of politics and he can't speak his mind and the Torah that he believes is true. I cry every time I see the right fighting the left and the left fighting the right and all different angles. And our temple cannot be rebuilt when there's still so much hatred and sinat chinam. We know that the second Beit HaMikdash was destroyed from sinat chinam, and we know it will not be rebuilt until we have ahavat chinam, love for one another. As Rabbi Ari Khan says, we need a more radical sense of brotherhood or sisterhood, which transcends ideological communities. The commandment to love your neighbor is directed to the person you would not have loved otherwise. We have to love all of our country, all of our nation, all of our people. We have to love people who think differently than we do. We have to learn how to come together and work together so we can successfully build the third and final Beit HaMikdash and not have to mourn and sit on the floor and fast yet another year. So if we don't want to do this again next year, if we only want to celebrate next year, let us spend this time, this fast, introspecting and trying to think of ways that we can come together and love one another and work together and build the third and final Beit HaMikdash. Here's wishing you a Som Kal, one of introspection and meaning. And I hope to see you after in a time where we can work together. Take care.